Welcome back to the Hourback Report, episode 15. I'm Jordan, joined by Jamie and Jack. Got the full crew back for this episode. Boys, how we doing tonight?
Just not a great stretch. I feel like a 50-50 stretch to talk about.
Yeah, not great, and always bad when they lose the last game before we record. Rare that they do it, but it's not a pleasant experience. As Jack and I know, because when we were doing the Sox show, it felt like for a while all they did was lose when we would go and record, and not fun. No matter how the rest of the stretch goes, but yeah, 4 games to talk about in this week's episode, and all of them were. I mean, like the Portland one was fun because Jrue came back and Rob came back, but like none of the games are like very fun to talk about. Like there were fun moments in, I don't want to say each because the Hawks game sucked, but there were fun moments, but generally speaking, not a very fun stretch of play for the Boston Celtics, who went 2-2. They're 6-6 in the last 12. We'll start with the Brooklyn game, double OT, against a really bad Brooklyn Nets team. I'll throw it to you, Jack.
With this Nets team.
Yeah. I don't know what it is about the Brooklyn Nets, but they give them fits. Is it just Michael Porter Jr.?
Although think so.
Wasn't Noah Clowney giving them fits a little bit in this game too? I felt like he was. Yeah, it was just a rough week. I mean, for the Celtics bigs in general. I mean, Nemi and Garza were both battling illnesses. You got some more Amari Williams burn, which was great against Portland and awful against Atlanta. Just not a fun stretch of play. The Nets game was annoyingly close the entire time. They almost lost it. Obviously, you go to 2 overtimes, and you're going to almost lose the game. But, I mean, took Messiah, Joe Mazzulla, chess with Hugo Gonzalez to just force a second overtime. Overall thoughts on the Brooklyn game? I'll throw it to you first, Jack.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why this Brooklyn team is giving them hell, but they are. It makes me terrified of what happens when they come back in February at TD Garden. Or maybe they'll just finally put their foot on the gas and win by 50. But, it's either that or they're going to, go through hell, win or lose against this team. I don't know what it is. I mean, interesting to see Baylor get the start with D. White out. Because you could have potentially seen them going a little bigger and putting Ugo or Walsh back into the starting lineup. Both of those guys have started a good amount of games this year, obviously. They didn't do that. They went smaller with Baylor. And he played a lot. He basically played starter minutes. And I know double overtime will do that. But interesting to see that. He didn't play particularly well, but he crashed the glass, 7 boards, and that's what I liked about Shireman at Creighton. And then beyond that, you got good nights out of Jalen and Pritchard, and Hauser continues to shoot efficiently. So it's kind of bizarre that you struggled so hard against Brooklyn in a game where, on the whole, things kind of went your way outside of, the big man situation of all the illnesses, but they still didn't, play horribly. And it was just kind of a weird one. I don't have a ton of answers for why Brooklyn put them through hell, but they got the win, and I can live with it. That's all that matters.
Yeah, weird that they beat the Nets by 27 from 3-point range and only won the game by 4 points, and it took 2 overtimes. Michael Porter Jr. dropped 30 again. Nolan Traore off the bench was nasty with 21 on 7 of 13. Yeah, like you said, wasn't necessarily a bad Celtics game, just a really good Brooklyn Nets game. And I honestly feel like when I watch the Nets play without Cam Thomas, there's the framework of a decent team there. It's just, I don't know, when Cam Thomas plays, and I think both times that they've played the Nets, Cam didn't play. But the Nets play so much better, at least from what I've watched without him. Like you said, Baylor got the start, didn't necessarily play particularly well. Simons played 37 minutes off the bench. He didn't play particularly well, but, Jalen was good. From a point standpoint, shot the ball well from 3, but was 9-27 overall. Pritchard was awesome. And then the hero, Hugo Gonzalez, But Jamie, what were some of your thoughts before we dive into that play in particular?
I think like Jack said, it was a game I was 50-50 on. Like, good, you won double overtime, but the fact that you needed double overtime to beat the 12-win Nets wasn't exactly the most, great feeling. I mean, Pritchard looked great with 32. Jalen, I felt like though he only made 9 shots, he still had 10 rebounds, 12 assists, so he, made impact other ways than scoring. But just, I think it's Nets the team that you should not take 2 overtimes to get to, and shout out to Hugo for even getting to that point with the tying 3 at the end of the end of the first one. So good that they won, but definitely kind of frustrating that it went to 2 considering who they were playing.
Yeah, and to your point, Jalen with a triple double, and I think he actually passed Tatum for triple doubles all time with the Celtics, which I think is crazy to think about because Jalen didn't really play enough as a rookie for that 1 year difference to really matter. And Jalen's missed plenty of time over the years to kind of correct the game's play disparity. But I watch the Celtics and the constant theme, whatever starting lineup be damned, whatever Jalen's doing be damned. I'm so impressed with Hugo Gonzalez. That dude is just a freak. He's constantly moving. He's constantly high energy, sometimes to a fault, but he's young and he wants to, make an impact. He had a couple moments in tonight's game where he was a little too out of control for his own good, but good on Joe Mazzulla for seeing the matchup and going to Hugo Gonzalez. Good on Baylor Shireman for recognizing Hugo was open and not just forcing it to Jalen. The typical our best players got to take the shot to tie the game or win the game. And then Hugo obviously drills it from the corner. That was I was getting Malcolm Go flashbacks and not to talk about the Super Bowl, but it was that whole exact thing where at the last second they're yep, Hugo, go out there, and he makes the big play and they end up winning in double OT. Jack, what were your thoughts on that play in particular with Hugo Gonzalez and Joe Mazzulla?
Yeah, I mean, I think first off, while you did say normally your best player is taking that shot, I watched the Marcus Smart experience enough times to know sometimes if a player thinks they're the best player, they're going to take that shot. But
pain.
Yeah, and love Marcus Smart, but oh my God, sometimes it got rough out there. But I mean, clearly there's a lot of confidence in Hugo that, and that's kind of the benefit of getting someone who has that international experience. Well, yeah, he is still young, he's still raw, and sometimes gets into the playing out of control thing and all those. He's far from a finished product. He's not really ever seeming to be phased by moments and circumstances that a lot of young guys do. And so I'm not surprised to see him thrive in big pressure moments because he's generally more used to it than 99% of rookies. And, it's super encouraging to see that the coaching staff has that confidence in him because you're seeing a guy who it feels like is going to be a legit piece for this team moving forward.
Yeah, he's definitely. Yeah. And I feel whenever he shoots a 3, it's he doesn't hit rim. He is very consistently nothing but net when he's hitting his threes, and he, big shot, big moment, answer the call. He's going to be here for a while, and I don't know if he's going to be a starter, especially if Pritchard hangs around for a long time. And I don't know what's going to happen with Derrick, and he's already in his 30s, but he's under control for a few more years. And then obviously there's Simons as well. So I don't know if Hugo is going to necessarily ever be a starter for Boston, but he's definitely going to be a contributor for a while, and he can play he can play bigger than his size would indicate. He was checking Onyeka Okongwu tonight. Not necessarily doing a great job of it, but nobody was. But he's constantly playing bigger than his size, and that's something that Marcus did as well. But if Hugo can be Marcus on the defensive end, not necessarily at that level, but willing to play against bigger opponents, can, guard at the perimeter, makes energy plays, and be a better 3-point shooter, that's going to be gigantic for this team going forward. Jamie, what were your thoughts on that play in particular?
It was good to see. I feel it was just another impressive moment. What's been a really good rookie season for him. I love that. I feel we've talked about it before, but just that his first year, he hasn't been phased by those big moments. And it seems with each game, he's getting better. And so it's just good to see that, I feel like that shot usually would think would go to Brown. If Tatum's healthy, we go to Tatum. But to see him kind of make that was good to see him step up in that moment. And I want Missoula to give him more of those moments going forward, just because I think to make him better and he showed that he can handle it, which I feel like is impressive as a rookie, especially for a team like the Celtics.
He's a fun player, and they are so good when he plays. Did you guys see his? I think Jack sent the stat in the group, unless I just saw it a million different times on the timeline. But I think entering tonight, his plus minus was plus 200. Like, that's ridiculous. Like, over 100 points above. Was it Dylan Harper for number 2 or number 1 on the rookie leaderboard? Obviously, that doesn't mean he's going to win Rookie of the Year, but
he should.
He should.
Jalen MVP, rookie, Hugo
Cooper
rookie.
Who?
Yeah, Cooper who. It's
Do you think we could 1-for-1 swap them? No offense to Ugo, but do you think, like, if Nico Harrison still had the job, could we turn Ugo into Cooper Flag?
The thing that's annoying is the Mavs would somehow get the number 1 pick again. And that they're just going to become a farm system for like the most storied franchises in the NBA. Like so they take DeBonsta or whoever first overall this year, and they end up trading him to like the Knicks after a year or two, and they're just constantly
for Cat.
That'd be crazy. But yeah. Any final thoughts on the Nets game before we move on to one of the non-fun games of this 4-game stretch? All right. Moving on, Celtics Bulls. Something about the Celtics getting gamed by role players is really pissing me off. Getting walked off by Kevin Huerter in the big 2-6, not something that I expected to happen. Overall, not an awful game. Second night of a back-to-back. You had Amari Williams making his first NBA start. Very quick hook, only played 10 minutes overall. No Garza for this game because he was sick. Oh, no, Garza did play. Why did Amari start? If Keita... That's weird. Oh, did Keita leave with the illness? I'm trying to remember why Keita didn't start but played 24 minutes. But... Jalen had
love Chicago.
Do they?
I don't know. I'm just throwing theories.
Yeah, maybe. And Joe decided to reward him by giving him his first NBA start against the Bulls, who are like oddly good at home.
He wanted to be at the Derrick Rose retirement ceremony.
Yeah. Did you see that what Reggie Miller said about Derrick Rose?
Yeah, that was some propaganda if I've ever seen some.
He was in a race with LeBron for the number 1 player
battle every year
for 8 years. He said,
"Yeah, for 0 years." Just because he won an MVP, let's be very clear. Derrick Rose was never in the same stratosphere as LeBron. Like, let's please be. If you want to say Durant was, like, sure. Especially at that point in time when Durant was in Oklahoma City and stuff. Like, if you want to say Durant was like the guy going up against LeBron in terms of like who the best player in the league is, totally, because Steph hadn't emerged yet and Kobe was on the back end, obviously still great. But like, and Derrick Rose obviously was a great player before the need, but like, no, he was never in contention for best player in the world at any point in time.
Yeah, very fun little change of pace where like the old generations tend to hate on the younger generations, and like it wasn't like Reggie Miller and Derrick Rose had any overlap at all. So there's no reason for Reggie Miller to say that. There was no need to say that, but he did, and that is an insane level of overcorrecting and lying on Reggie Miller's part. I don't know. Maybe he was emotional because of the retirement ceremony. I don't know. But anyway, Celtics get walked off by Kevin Huerter. Overall thoughts on the game, Jamie?
I mean, getting walked off by him was probably like worst case scenario. I did not have that on my bingo card. I feel like it's just kind of this stretch of like up and down game. Like I feel like they didn't play horribly throughout the entire game, but to get walked off by him and kind of not close it out was not great. I mean, Simons was the only one other than Jalen that I feel like had a good game. No one else had more than 15. So just not a great night all around.
Yeah, Derrick's really frustrating me. We're way too far into the season now for me to be like, oh, the water will find its level with him. Like, he is consistently just underwhelming me. Like, he's still getting his blocks and his steals, so like he's getting the stocks, and he's like stockpiling his his defensive stats and whatnot. But his shooting has been consistently a problem for this team all year, and I don't know if they're like how annoyed they are with it, like how worried they are about it. Do they think it'll kind of correct itself when Tatum comes back? What it is, but I feel like consistently we see the Celtics, whether they win or lose. You look at Derrick White's stat line, and he's like 3 of 11 from three, and sometimes he'll do the other things. Like he had 7 boards, 7 assists in this one, but like 5 of 18, 3 of 11 from three is disgusting. And I feel like we see so many stat lines like that from Derrick White. And that's the main frustration for me. Like, Pritchard, for as good as he is, I don't count on him to be like a consistent, like top 2 or 3 scorer on the floor. Or maybe third, but like, any given night it can be Hauser, any given night it can be Simons in the top 3 instead of Pritchard. But I expect Derrick White to consistently be on the podium for scoring for the Celtics. And he was in this game, but like it wasn't because he was particularly good. He was freaking awful.
I think he's shooting 39.1 for his field goal percentage right now if the season ended today, which would be the lowest. Yeah, that would be the lowest of his career if the season ended.
It's not good.
No.
That's quite bad, actually.
That is really bad. And I don't know, are either of you guys worried about him? Do you think once Tatum comes back, it'll sort of correct itself? And it's like, okay, what's Derrick doing after Tatum's back? And we just forget about the stats overall? Like, where are we at with Derrick White as far as concern level?
I'm probably like a 6.5, just because I thought, like, if we talked about earlier, I thought it was just a cold start. He would kind of level out and we'd get the same Derrick we've used to. But when we're at the 44 game mark, that makes me a little more worried. I feel like if Tatum comes back, there's, a little pressure just because you have him around scoring-wise. But to be 44 games and having shooting his career worst field goal, I think his 3-point is his worst since the Celtics traded for him or since the 2021 season. So just based on those numbers, like not encouraging to be, a little more than halfway through the season at this point.
Yeah, Jack, how worried are you about Derrick White?
Yeah, it feels like twice a month when we do this, I'm like, oh, Derrick's figured it out because he has like 2 good games in a row right before we record, and I'm like, the dam has broken, and then we go back to bad Derrick White for like a week and a half, and then we get 2 more good games, and it's like, it's time now, he's good again. And it feels like we're doing this all season. And you have to hope that when Tatum is back, that's going to solve things, and he'll be a bit more comfortable in getting back into like his more quote unquote normal role. If this continues throughout the whole season, like that's where you do get legitimately concerned. And like if Tatum is back and like the efficiency still sucks, then it becomes like, is this someone who you do consider dangling on the trade market in spite of the fact that like he's on what's a team friendly contract if he's Derrick White, but if he's this inconsistent version of Derrick White that's still contributing with defense and hustle and blocking shots, getting steals, like by no means has Derrick White been like, the worst player in the NBA this season.
No.
In spite of all this going on, like he still can contribute a lot of the time because of what he's doing on and off the ball on defense, and as someone running around screens, as a hustle player, he does a lot right, even if the shots aren't landing. But if you're confident in someone like Hugo, or you're confident in the type of moves you can make, or maybe you do want to keep Simons around and you start going like, where are we going to make moves on the margins to get a big or to get something? It's something we may have to start getting uncomfortable thinking about, and that maybe there's something to this whole Sam Adams curse with all these guys who get their own Sam Adams beer, or things don't end well.
Yeah, and I think honestly, you brought it up, and I guess that's a good way to kind of segue into like the trade reports that came out today, or the trade offers, I guess, that came out today. Regarding Anthony Simons, I think it's we're kind of at a point where it's an either or for me. You know, if you think Simons is going to be somebody that you can see being a Celtic for a while, whether it's another like pillow extension, he gets like 2 or 3 years, whatever max amount of money you can give him. I don't think you can have both on the team at the same time. And not that they are really ever. I mean, they do play. They do overlap as far as like playing time goes, but I don't think. I think Missoula Ball values somebody like Anthony Simons in a lot of ways more than this version of Derrick White. And I'm not advocating to trade Derrick. I love Derrick. It's my favorite Celtic. But if they decide that Anthony Simons is somebody they want to keep long term, and they have Hugo and they have Peyton Pritchard, who they'll have to pay, not I think after next season, or maybe it's the year after that, but something to consider. Is there room for Derrick White, especially as they're a team that is still kind of looking at where they're positioned from a tax bill standpoint? And if they want to get a guy like Jaren Jackson Jr., I think we already did the math that Simons makes more sense, but there are guys that make a lot of money if they want to go super high impact in the front court, and it would make more sense to trade Derrick White than Anthony Simons. But anyway, anything else on this Bulls game? Oh, no, sorry. I wanted to talk about the trade offers that were reported today. Apparently, the Celtics did offer Simons a first and a pick swap for Zubac, and that got rejected. And it makes sense. I don't know when the trade offer was proposed, but the Clippers are 15-3 in their last 18. So they're the 10th seed in the West, but I don't know. They're going to be a tough out if Kawhi's playing. I don't know. Interesting to see they actually offered that, and then apparently the Bulls earlier in the year offered Vucevic Vucevic for Simons in a first. I think the Celtics also had to add some salary filler, or the Bulls had to add salary filler. Two very different trades. I would have obviously loved if Zubac happened. Lukewarm on Nick Vucevic in general. Would have been very disappointed if that's what they got.
Remember the Kemba or Vucevic offseason? That feels like so many moons ago. When it was like,
I mean, it was what, 8 years ago?
Yeah, it was like, oh, you must choose one. You can have Kemba or you can have Vucevic. And like in hindsight, like neither really panned out, but like at least Kemba was fun for a minute.
Kemba was a nice bridge from Kyrie, because we went from like absolute misery to like way too happy. Like, oh, I'm 6 for 19. Ha, yay. Woo.
Yeah, but now we have a player who played for the Celtics who was also in Marty Supreme. And that's big.
True. That is huge.
That's true.
That is true. And I cannot believe I missed that in real time, that Kemba was in Marty Supreme.
I was doing the DiCaprio points. Like, I was like, that's Kemba.
Full movie theater, you're the only one that's like, yo, Kemba Walker.
Yeah, when I saw Kemba and I saw T-Mac, like, I was hyped.
It's when you gotta wear the Kemba jersey to the theater to rep.
The athlete cameos in movies lately have been getting out of control. I don't know if either of you saw Is This Thing On?
No, I haven't.
But there's a Peyton Manning cameo in it. I did not the Kemba point, the Leonardo DiCaprio point when I saw him. I like leaned forward. I was like, what? I texted my buddy Pat and was like, why didn't you at least warn me that I was going to see the forehead in this episode, in this movie?
Content warning, Peyton Manning.
Content warning, fucking tarmac forehead on my screen. But yeah,
See, that's what makes Uncut Gems fun is that Kevin Garnett's like a legit supporting character in that movie.
Yeah.
Like he's not a cameo. Like he's a legit like.
Yeah, that was one of his
third or
best work
fourth
right
most
there.
important character in the movie.
yeah, he is all over that movie, playing himself too. It's not just
Yeah.
he's not just a cameo playing somebody else like Travis Kelce in Happy Gilmore 2, or everybody pretty much Happy Gilmore 2. It's like Adam Sandler in athlete cameos and Bad Bunny. What a crazy movie that was. Anyway,
The only things we just added to the bullet point list.
what celebrity or athlete cameos?
Oh yeah, we just got Bad Bunny, Leonardo. We got like 6 to add.
Oh yeah, good point. Good point. We're gonna spam bullet points in this for this episode. Better to do it this way than some of the ways we've been targeting SEO headlines in previous episodes.
The pod is young.
You could just put the forehead, painted however you want to do the Manning one. Up to you.
Yeah, the pod is young, so another thing Leonardo DiCaprio loves. Anyway, beside the point. Let's move on.
Oh, can I just say one thing real quick about this
Yeah.
game before we leave?
Go
Is
ahead.
that I should have realized, because like in the moment I wasn't thinking this, but now in hindsight, getting Kevin Herter should have made me realize there was bad energy regarding the Atlanta Hawks. Like once Kevin Herter, famously of Atlanta Hawk, just owns you like that, I should have realized, like we play them in a few days.
Yeah, and the Hawks are like, we'll save Hawks Hawks discourse for when we get to that game. So we'll move on to Game 3 of this 4-game stretch: Celtics versus the Portland Trailblazers. The return of Jrue Holiday and the return of Robert Williams to TD Garden. Rob actually played. Another thing that's the reason that this was his return, not 2 years ago or last year. So nice to see them both play, and Jrue played pretty well. And it was a deceptively close game. Celtics only win by 8, but I felt like they really kind of controlled. I mean, the second half, they actually lost both quarters. Actually, now that I'm looking at the box score, they kind of ran away and hid while Portland chipped away. Now that I'm looking at it, won the first quarter by 21 and lost the next 3 quarters each. But yeah, general takeaways from this one, Jamie.
I was impressed by the start. I think it was the first quarter they only allowed 11 points, which I feel like you kind of just segued to with how they played the rest of the game. But it was good to see them kind of clamp down to start. I feel like all the starters played well. I mean, everyone had over 10 except for Keita. And Pritchard continued to score a machine with 23, and our favorite bench player, Simons, had 12. So I feel like it was sometimes. But I feel it was like a much better effort than the previous two, that they kind of set that down early, that let them not slack off, but could kind of deal with the Trailblazers runs later on. And it's just good to see Jrue and Rob back at the Garden. I mean, Rob's been back, but to see him like actually play a basketball game, and to see Jrue too, I felt like that was kind of the winning was nice. Also seeing those guys back in the Garden playing was kind of a cherry on top of that.
Yeah, for sure. Jack, some of your takeaways from this one.
I mean, they're lucky that Portland shot horribly, because if Portland shot efficiently, and granted, they didn't, by modern NBA standards, like 43s feels like nothing, even though it was more than the Celtics, but like you see how ridiculous the totals get sometimes. But yeah, they shot 25% from 3 in a game they lost by 8. If they shoot 35% from 3, the Celtics probably lose this game. So you got very lucky that they played bad. And obviously, the Celtics defense gets some of the credit there. And, it's good to see Jrue back. It's a shame that it was mid-snowstorm, and I couldn't trek to TD Garden for it because I really wanted to go to this game. But I just...
We break out the skis.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it kind of was like a reverse thing where, like, working from home worked against me. Because if they forced me to go into the office, like I would have already been in Boston and been like, okay, well then I'm going to this game. I'm already in the city. But like I wasn't gonna figure out how to get into the city for it. So it sucks not being able to see it. But good win all around. They played pretty well. The shooting was mostly good by the Celtics, which is nice to see. Derrick White did not shoot horribly. He did have 9 turnovers, though, so you're going to give and take. But, and Peyton Pritchard finally played well against Portland, because last time he played horribly, and we were like, you're supposed to always go off against these guys. So nice to see.
Especially in Portland.
Yeah.
Yeah, my main takeaway from this one is I was actually really impressed with Amari Williams. I know he went 3 of 8 from the floor, which for a guy who exclusively shoots from like 3 feet from the basket, that's pretty embarrassing. And that's one thing about him that's definitely got to improve. And he had a couple of bunnies he missed tonight in his second NBA start as well. The 7 boards, he had a couple of blocks. He actually blocked Rob Williams on one end and then got an and one against him on the other end in one sequence, which I thought was pretty cool. It was, kind of a weird passing of the torch where like Rob, like so used to watching Rob reject somebody and then get an and one on the other end. And now to see Amari do it was pretty cool. He played well. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of a balanced effort. Again, not the best shooting night overall from the Celtics. They did shoot pretty efficiently from 3, but like not the cleanest game, but you had 17 turnovers, which is well above your season average. But yeah, I mean, Portland without Deni Avdija, they were very undermanned, and Jrue was really the only one that struck fear into my soul from that game. I mean, Tamani Kamara played pretty well, I guess, but that was really about it. Jeremy Grant was okay off the bench. We took fucking 15 free throws. Like, that's crazy. A bench player getting 15 free throws up, but face an undermanned team that's pretty mid at home, you should win that game, and they did. And even if they only won 1 quarter in the process. Not as fun a tribute video for Jrue as the Cornette one, but I think that one was kind of like that set a standard way too high. No tribute video is ever going to reach that level.
He'll have to make a second one when he returns, and then after stint 2.
Yeah, because again, it's going to happen. I'm partially manifesting it, but there's just no way Luke Cornette finishes his career and doesn't have a 3rd trip to Boston in there. Also, I know he didn't play well in this game, but nobody thought Caleb Love was worth drafting. Bronny James got drafted. Caleb Love is very inconsistent as a shooter, but he's kind of a microwave. You'd think some team in the 2nd round would draft this man. And then even if not, the Blazers were the team that signed him as an undrafted free agent. Now, maybe that was just a matter of finding a pathway onto an NBA roster. He chose the Blazers over some other contenders, but feels weird to me that no team drafted him. But that's neither here nor there. But yeah, any final thoughts on this one? It wasn't the most exciting game in the world. I know we're gonna finish up with this absolute trash can of a game from tonight, but
I feel like the people who trekked out, whoever went to that game in a snowstorm, respect, because like Jack said, it would have been great to be there, but to be out there in the blizzard or the snow Armageddon, as it was felt like sometimes if you looked at social media, I respect that.
Yeah, we got crushed. And I saw people downplaying it. It was everyone's talking about the storm being ridiculous and whatever. It was. It definitely met the hype. It was it was the Bryce Harper of snowstorms for sure.
We got a walk off this weekend too.
Yeah, got another one coming. That's gonna be fun. I'm prepared to work from home again next Monday. At least I don't have to worry about the power going out in the middle of a Patriots game. That would break my damn heart. But yeah. Anyway, on to this trash can of a game against the Atlanta Hawks. This one sucked. Plain and simple. Got boat raced in the first quarter. I mean, again, similar to the Blazers game, but the inverse of it. You got absolutely smoked in the first quarter. Won 2 of the final 3 quarters and tied the 4th quarter. But you got absolutely hammered in the first. and you got smoked by Nickeil Alexander-Walker and Corey Kispert, which is not something that Jack's unfamiliar with.
Yeah. I've learned you don't want to mess with the Kispert.
Yeah. That was an incredibly frustrating game. It felt like every single time the Celtics got like anywhere close. I think they at one point cut it to 9. And it was like, here's a crisp little 8-0 run from Atlanta. And then it's like, oh, here comes a 3 from the Celtics. Up 6-0 run from Atlanta. And the lead balloons back up to 21, 22. This one sucked. Jack, some of your takeaways from this one.
Like, this is like the one where it's like, I don't even have much to say because it just sucked. It was not a fun game. You were getting blown out early, and then it's like you just get demoralized in that sort of setting, especially at home against a team you should beat. They shot really badly, which in Missoula ball, that's going to kill you. Pritchard did not make a 3. Jalen did not make a 3. Derrick made 1 3. That's not going to work if you're like 3 primary guys shoot a combined 1 for 13 from 3. You're generally not going to win. And just it felt like
19 if you include Hauser in the mix.
Yeah. And like just nothing was really going their way at all. And you were getting worked by Nickeil Alexander-Walker, who was having a really strong season, but he's also a flawed player. Let's, not say he's a superstar. He's a good player, and I'm happy for him kind of getting the show out now that he's a starter in Atlanta, but he is what he is. And like Dyson Daniels is obviously a great defensive player, but you shouldn't be getting jobbed by the Atlanta Hawks like this at home. But when they shoot well, which they did, and we shot horribly, you're going to lose. It doesn't matter who you're playing against.
Yeah. Jamie?
Yeah, so, from the start, this was a tough game to watch. I feel like from the first quarter, it was the Hawks game. To get outscored 38 to 18 on your home court. It was a horrible start. No one could really score. I felt like Hugo had some good-ish moments. And that was pretty much the only highlight, I feel like, because every time, like I said, they got close, it seemed like the Hawks scored another 8-0 run. Just the tone from the first quarter was just that this was going to be a forgetful night and a night that you'd walk away kind of hanging your heads on your own home court.
Yeah, this one really sucked. Amari Williams got a second NBA start, and he very much looked like it was a second NBA start. He was not good. He played, I think, 6 minutes in the first quarter and then didn't play again until Joe emptied the bench in the fourth. Luka Garza was pretty good, I guess. Like, he provided some energy, kept them in the game for a while. That small lineup really kind of had me fooled that they were going to win this game in the third quarter. Very similar to the Pacers game where they brought the bench in and like erased a 26-point deficit. This game was really frustrating to me because from the outset, it just didn't look like they were very interested in playing basketball tonight.
Yeah.
Like, they just showed up because they were contractually obligated to do so. Jalen didn't look like he really wanted to play basketball tonight. Derrick looked like he wanted to, but just couldn't. And Peyton was non-existent. Like, I honestly had forgotten he was even playing tonight. Like, the only guys to me that looked remotely exciting were Hugo. Shireman had a couple nice energy plays. Garza had a few, as he so often does, even though he can't move. And it was nice to see Josh Minot come into the game in a blowout and just immediately start chucking. The dude comes into the game, they're down by 20, and he's like 37-foot three-pointer. I'll airball it. Like, that was so fucking hilarious. I love Minot. Can't wait to wear his jersey on Friday. That'll be fun. Get to finally debut that at the Garden. But yeah, not a fun game at all. At all. Yeah, anything else on this one?
I'm thinking of Sam Cassell after he got after his little that interaction.
Did anybody ask Joe about that? About how he legitimately almost killed Sam Cassell?
I don't know. Would you guys say that's the most pissed off you've ever seen him during a game? I literally thought he was going to kill the ref if he got through Cassell.
It's up there. I think it's kind of funny to me. It's funny to me how like weak NBA officials are. Like they're so quick to give the first technical. I mean, Joe deserved it. Like I'm not trying to say Joe didn't earn the first technical. Like he was about to pants the ref on TV. But it just like he was angrier after getting the tech, and they were like, "Yeah, go ahead, like go off, King." Like they just kind of just let him continue to get pissed off and like keep charging at reps, almost murdered assistant coach, and they were like, "We won't eject you. We won't do it. It's not going to happen." Not seeing anything.
Felt like his post-game quotes would have been gold if someone had asked him about it. They're probably afraid that they also might get assaulted if they brought it up.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, the only quote that I see from Noah Dalzell is Missoula said tonight was a bad night at the office, which is very much not a Joe quote to me. Like I thought it'd be a little bit more. I don't know. He'd be like, "I'm happy we got smoked" or some shit, like just something ridiculous. I don't know.
You know, he's gonna unwind by watching what's the movie he watches?
The Town.
The Town.
Yeah, nothing. He probably meditates while that movie's on. Psycho. Oh, another thing that happened in this game. Did you guys see Onyeka Okongwu's teeth?
Yeah, like he had
Jalen elbowed him.
Like a boxing match with Manny Pacquiao or something.
Yeah, like them shits was dislodged. That was nasty business right there.
Scal's commentary on it was kind of funny. I don't know, or like just Scal commentating that for 15 seconds was kind of entertaining.
Yeah. But then Drew Carter being like, yeah, and then Drew Carter bringing up Michael Rappaport was very weird. He's like, "Oh, you wouldn't hope that would happen to Michael Rappaport?" Like, what's Scal supposed to say on TV? Like, yeah, I hope somebody assaults Michael Rappaport.
That would really like lock in Scal though as like the face of Boston if he did do that.
True.
Yeah, I suppose. And like that's like for a fact Tommy would have said yes.
Tommy would have been so happy when he got like removed in the traders. Like Tommy would have been popping champagne when that happened.
You've been like finally some energy tonight, just trying to freaking murder Onyeka Okongwu after Joe tried to murder Sam Cassell. Man, I've got a CLNS Media's like live stream up on my screen, and why is Sherrod Blakely wearing a sleep mask?
Might be sleepy.
True.
He's literally wearing it like they woke him up to do the post game because he's got it on his forehead.
I was thinking about taking a nap during that game, so I get where he's coming from.
Yeah, he may have. I don't know. I don't have it playing. Bizarre. But yeah. That's it on that game. Again, Celtics went 2-2 in this 4-game stretch. Did y'all see? And I'm mostly bringing this up because the Celtics play them in this next 4-game stretch. But I'm kind of sick of Giannis Antetokounmpo, to be honest. Like he's really pissing me off. Like just formally request a trade. Like just do it. Like you're being so weird about it.
He prefers to find a new home, Jordan.
Just request a trade.
You know what it kind of reminds me of? I don't know if this is like the best analogy, but I feel like they like the Luis Robert with him talking about he was going to get traded forever. I feel like the last couple weeks or months it's just been like Giannis trade proposal at this point. Just like someone just do it, whether it's the Knicks or what was other. It was all teams in the East, right? Proposed supposedly is where he wants to go.
Knicks, Heat, and one other team. I don't remember what the third team was.
Yeah, someone just take the hit and like do it.
Yeah, I just don't know. I don't know what team. I mean, the Heat probably are desperate enough to do it.
And then we could get another Jrue moment and have them trade us Bam.
That'd be fun. That'd be fun. We trade them Derrick for Bam. I think salary wise that works. And but yeah, he's pissing me off though. Then like, it's crazy the fall from grace the Bucks have had. Like, Jay Crowder quote tweeted the report of Adrian Griffin getting fired, and I did not realize just how good they were. Like, I obviously at the time was cognizant of the fact they were 30-13 and firing their head coach, but like, he was spot on. Like, they fired Adrian Griffin and it immediately went to shit. Which, I mean, you hired Doc Rivers. Like, sorry, I'm not sympathetic. Like, I love Doc for, obviously being the Celtics coach and winning a ring here, but like, one of the most overrated coaches of all time. And like, his team is synonymous with collapses.
What would you guys say for Giannis is like the best fit? Whether it's of those three or just like, regardless.
I mean, the fun fit is San Antonio, if you can make San Antonio work, and you have him and Wemby as like these giant aliens with 20 feet wingspans coming at you. Like, in terms of like ethical basketball, that sounds fun to me.
Oh, the third team was the Warriors, so it was two teams in Golden State. The like, two East teams in Golden State.
I don't know how they would even like make the money work in Golden State.
It was like Kuminga and Jimmy Butler.
Yeah, but Milwaukee doesn't want to do that.
No, they don't. I mean, they wanted like a good NBA player, although I guess like Jimmy's old and would be coming off an ACL tear, and then like Kuminga conceptually used to be a good basketball player. Now he's not even a basketball player.
I'm still like, the Kuminga quotes are so funny. The like, to request a trade, you need to have trade value being said by your GM. Like, has gotta be like, I know people were talking about it when it happened, but like, I think this might be like top 100 funniest thing in basketball history. Like, I'm not saying top 10 or anything, but like, do you know how like insane it is for the guy who like is supposed to drum up trade value for you? Like, that's what he's paid to do, to be like, you are fucking worthless to the media.
And it's not even the craziest like sports quote involving a player that came out this week. Like, do you see the thing with the Bills owner on Keon Coleman?
Yeah.
Being like,
still on the team.
Still on the team. They don't like, there's been no reports that they're going to like look to offload him. I mean, I guess everything that they've said has suggested that they might, but yeah, don't worry. Like, we fired the guy that drafted him. Like I'm keeping the GM, but it's not his fault we drafted Keon Coleman. And he's like straight up said that. Like,
meanwhile, their top assistant gets promoted to head coach, who probably like at least like had some involvement.
Just a wild week for the sports executives, just shitting on their employees. Just crazy work out of there.
I wonder who Craig Breslow's gonna like completely just like, no one wants Jaren Duran because he says slurs sometimes. Like,
I mean, yeah, like the one thing I'll give Craig Breslow credit for is like when he hates a player, like he makes it abundantly clear, but he doesn't say it. Like, we're aware that he like clearly doesn't like Masataka Yoshida. He's never once said a good thing about him, but he's never been like, I hate this guy. He just banished him to the glue factory last year, but he didn't say anything about it. And he just keeps being like, yeah, I mean, he's good sometimes. And like, I'd even go as far as to say Tristan Casas has grown on Breslow, but like all the trade shit with him last winter, like, but he never said anything bad about him. But yeah, don't worry. We fired the guy that's directly responsible for drafting Keon Coleman. And if you're going to request
see you at OTAs, buddy.
And you best believe if you're going to request a trade, you better have some damn trade value. God damn it. Just crazy.
Speaking of people's value, It's crazy that Towns isn't even in the closing lineups for the Knicks anymore. At the end of games, he's just been sent to the shadow realm for the last 5 minutes of games because Mitchell Robinson, who is a constant discussion point on this podcast,
this is a Mitchell Robinson podcast,
is a more effective basketball player in that sort of scenario than Karl Anthony Towns, which is hilarious that a borderline top 20, top 25 player is getting benched for Mr. What's Robinson up to at the free throw line, 37%, but
baby steps.
He protects the glass and grabs rebounds like a maniac, two things that Towns has no desire to do.
Yeah, and Cat's softer than, baby shit, too. Yeah, he's shooting 38.2% from the line this year.
I almost got that. I'm patting myself on the back. I said 37, and that was without looking at any numbers.
Jack knows his ball.
I'm impressed, for sure. He's averaging 5 points and 9 boards. How's he doing lately from the line?
He's averaging the exact same amount of offensive rebounds as he is points.
At least he's consistent.
That's crazy.
He's averaging 4.9 points,
so 4.9
offensive rebounds.
Mitchell Robinson had consecutive games of very efficient free throw shooting.
Don't let him get
on December 9th. No, these aren't recent.
Okay,
on December 19th, he went 7 of 8 from the line. And then on December 21st, he went 3 for 3 from the line.
Mercury
Since then, he's 5 for 17. He's shooting 29% since that stretch. And before that stretch, good Lord, this man is so bad at free throws. It's actually making me sick. Before that stretch, he shot 22% from the line. So 22% from the line for 17 games, then 2 games where he goes 10 for 11, and then he shoots 29% from the line after that. What a funny basketball player that Mike Brown trusts more than Karl Anthony Towns. I don't think I ever answered your question about where Giannis actually makes sense, and I don't know. It would be super annoying as a Celtics fan, but Miami makes a lot of sense to me. They have more to offer. They can trade Hero, and I think that's somebody that the Bucks would really like. And Giannis and Bam would be a really fun front court. Neither of them can shoot, so that would be your one saving grace. And I still would probably take the Celtics over Miami. This year for sure, especially with Tatum coming back. But going forward, even with those two, I would take the Celtics over the Heat. But that would be a fun landing spot for him from a basketball standpoint. I'd hate it as a Celtics fan. But
I'm just Googling stuff, packages that people are throwing out. And someone on an NBA subreddit wrote a whole thing about why the Celtics should 1-for-1 swap Tatum for Giannis. And maybe people shouldn't be allowed to post on the internet anymore.
I bet the comments under that are civil and
that's crazy. That's crazy.
I think Stevens would get tarred and feathered if that trade.
Yeah. Other than nostalgia, I'm not sure why this isn't a more active discussion. From just a basketball perspective, what am I missing?
I think a lot.
Yeah, especially because Giannis is 3 years older and also has lower leg injuries in his history.
Yeah.
And can't shoot. Maybe it makes you better in the big 2-6, but after that, I don't know. Y'all see the stuff that came out from Tatum's most recent podcast run, where that man just would not shed a tear if Steve Kerr croaked.
Good.
He hates that man. I would be disappointed if it took him that long to come back, but the Warriors come to TD Garden on March 19th. That would be maybe the most generational hate watch of all time.
That would feed families.
See, he wouldn't want to come back that game, though, because he wants to be at full speed for that game. He wants to drop 57 on them. And
Yeah, what's his career highs? It's 60, right? He had 60 against in the play-in tournament against the Wizards. Yeah, he's going for like 65.
He's gonna have his Kobe game.
Yeah, it's gonna take him 50 shots for sure, but he's gonna get to 65 points.
It's funny too because Halliburton was also on LeBron's podcast, like also talking about the Olympics of it all, and it is like funny how like it's just like it is just super awkward, and I know like this is a years old thing at this point. It's like, what's even the point of like putting Tatum and Halliburton, for that matter, on the roster just to sit around and do nothing? Like,
yeah.
Those players are too good to just like sit there and do nothing.
Yeah. Like I get why Kerr played the players he did. Like you have LeBron, you have KD, like you have Steph. Like those guys are going to play. Like they're the face of American basketball for the last 15 years. So I get them like playing over like Tatum's in 5-10 years. When it's not Steve Kerr coaching, like Tatum will be the guy getting the playing time for Team USA. Like I get that, but like you said, why is he sitting? Like he was All NBA first team, and it was and like he mentioned, it was him and 4 foreigners. So he was considered the best American basketball player in the world. Well, obviously in America, actually, not in the world. There's only anyway.
It's so funny also because can you imagine how like. I know like Tatum's doing it now, but in the moment he handled it about as well as anyone could have. And he was very, just like going along with it. Can you imagine if they tried doing that to Jalen?
Oh, not at all.
Jalen would have like defected to a different country, learns the language, and then drops 65 on them.
Without question. I mean, we saw his reaction to just simply not being on the roster.
Right. So can you imagine if they put him on the roster and then said, get ready to learn never playing, buddy.
Get ready to learn splinters in your ass, buddy. Like, yeah. And like it would have at least made some sense if Jalen was on the team and didn't play because I'm trying to remember what the whole roster looked like. Like, I don't know. It would have made a lot more sense had he not played versus Tatum.
It is funny Derrick White got more burn.
That is true.
Tatum.
That's true.
That is true. I get again. It's weird because like Derrick's a role player and like playing a backup 2 guard. Like I understand that. It's just I don't know. Steve Kerr hates JT. Tatum hates Steve Kerr. That game is going to be maybe one of the most watched Celtics games of the year.
When it's Spoelstra, Tatum will be back, and Tatum will be the face of the nation.
Yeah, as he should be.
Because I feel like it's got to be Spoelstra.
Yeah, definitely. Or, could you imagine it was Missoula?
I feel like Joe could be an assistant. Like, I could totally see that.
Yeah. Spoelstra with Missoula on this. Oh, my God. What a fucking duality of man. like the stoic, cerebral Eric Spoelstra. And then Joe Missoula, like, choke slamming backup players on the bench, like just
that'd be great content
wonderful.
Right there.
It would be fantastic.
Which country are we predicting Jalen would defect to? Because I'm looking for buzzwords now that we're deep in it.
Well, we're going the buzzword route. That country he will definitely not defect to.
He could defect to Latvia to play with KP since they're boys. I could totally see that. Is him just being like, yeah, me and Kristaps could win the Olympics.
It's like we're gonna become the ultimate power duo.
Did you say he was going to defect to Latvia? It was the time of the episode where my Wi-Fi goes to shit.
Him and Kristaps, cookies and cream, gonna win the gold medal.
I could see it. That would be wild. Yeah, I think it would be. Well, didn't he play for Team World in that tournament like some years back? I feel like he played for Team World.
Did he?
I don't know if you guys remember that tournament. It was like a summer league, but it wasn't like FIBA or anything like that. It was like almost like an all-star game, but I thought he played for Team World. I could be wrong. But yeah. That defecting to another country thing is like 100% something Jaylen Brown would do.
He's so
like for better or worse, like he's so main character pilled. He would 100% do that without question.
He's like holding the Latvian dictionary on the bench while he's waiting to check back in.
He's going full LeBron, where he's holding a book he's never read.
Yeah, but Jaylen has read it.
Yeah, that's fair. That is fair.
Walks in with the laughing flag over his shoulder.
Oh man. All right, so 4 more games to preview for this next stretch for the Celtics, who are again 29-18. And I think what we're learning over this last stretch of play is like they definitely need Tatum to like actually do anything this year, because they're really kind of treading water right now. And every team goes through these stretches, and they had one earlier in the year as well. But yeah, 29-18. These next 4 games, Friday night, my return to TD Garden. It's not going to be nearly as anticipated as Jason Tatum's return to TD Garden, but I think it's one that's pretty highly anticipated. But I don't know. You have to, like you said, it depends who you ask. That's Friday night, 7:30. Then Sunday at 3:30, they're not at Milwaukee. They're at home against Milwaukee. That's an ESPN game. Then Tuesday, they go to Dallas to face Cooper Flag and the Dallas Mavericks. That game is on NBC. So back-to-back nationally televised games for the C's. And then for the billionth time this year, back-to-back. And they get to face the Houston Rockets, who boat raced them earlier in the year. You guys may remember that game as the Baylor Shireman game. That's when he led the team in scoring.
Will he do it again?
Will he do it again? And will it be a good thing this time? Probably not. To both questions. But yeah, that game's at 8 p.m. on next Wednesday. So we'll be getting a late recording session unless we want to do Thursday next week. Actually, can't do Thursday next week, so it'll have to be a late Wednesday recording session.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's not going to be fun because I have to drive to freaking Connecticut the following morning for 10 a.m. That's going to suck. Anyway, where are the Celtics from a record standpoint after these 4 games? I'll throw it to you first, Jamie.
I think they go 3-1. I think they win. They beat Sacramento, beat Milwaukee, beat Dallas, but I think that back-to-back, they lose to Houston. Yeah, I know they've struggled lately. I feel like those first 3 games, those are games they should win, but that back-to-back, especially with how they played against Houston earlier, I feel like that has the potential to be a very bad game.
Yeah, Jack, what do you think?
Yeah, I have the exact same 3-1, exact same set of my thought process. I'd love to go to that game on Friday night, but instead I'm going to be subjected to watching the BU hockey team, who are the most insufferable group of underachievers I've ever seen in my life. Preseason number 2 to currently unranked. They're on their Penn State grind.
It's like some Texas stuff right there.
Yeah, this is embarrassing. And James Higgins is going to score a hat trick at Aganis, and I'm going to cry. But yeah, I'd love to be there. JB bobblehead night that night as well, so it's a big night. And but I think they're going to beat Sacramento West after losing to Sacramento East. And then Milwaukee is a mess right now. Giannis is hurt. Like, please don't do this again, where it's like they kind of struggled with Milwaukee without Giannis. They still beat them, but like it got weird at points. I'm hoping that doesn't happen again.
No, they lost to Milwaukee.
They did?
Yeah, they lost by 15. Remember that?
Yeah. That's when they got Bobby Portis. Yeah.
They got Portis and Kuzma.
Yeah. So please don't let that happen again. That made me upset. And then Dallas, everybody's hurt on that team. Flag's hurt, AD's hurt, Kyrie's hurt, Clay's hurt. So, like, if you lose to that team, I kind of feel shitty about things. And then, yeah, Houston smoked you earlier this year. Houston's a legit title contender and is at full strength. That's going to be not ideal. And so I kind of have a feeling they're going to lose that Houston game on the second night of the back-to-back. But I think they go 3-1.
I'm with you guys on them going 3-1. I have a weird feeling that they actually do lose that Dallas game and then they respond by beating Houston because it makes absolutely no sense. But like, I don't know, like lately there's been some weird like thing going on where randomly guys are sick or like Derrick White gets a rest game or something like that. I don't know. I'm just going to pretend that Dallas game, they're going to be like, oh, all these guys on the Mavs are hurt. We got a back-to-back. Jalen's not going to play against Dallas. And then we're going to get Derrick White 6 of 23.
Who games us on the Mavs?
I think let me look at their roster real quick.
I could see a Najee Marshall explosion. Let's
pick this in real time here.
Yeah, I like that pick.
What's Jaden Hardy's season looking like? Oh, he's averaging 7 points a game, and he's shooting 40% from the floor.
Oh, it's him.
Jaden Hardy, and
the 30-point scorer right there.
He did score 19 a couple weeks ago against Utah, and Utah beat the Celtics. So he's going to score 30. So yeah, they're going to get gamed by Jaden Hardy. And then they're going to come back. Baylor Shireman's going to lead them in scoring, but they're going to win by 30 against the Houston Rockets. I'm just kidding on the second part of that, but I do think they take 3 or 4. They throw a game that they absolutely 100% should win in Dallas, and then they respond by like inexplicably beating Houston by like 15, and Jalen pops for like 40, which would be nice because as he's been getting his points lately, but his efficiency has really dipped in the last handful of games. So. Be nice to see. And maybe we'll get a good Derrick White game. That'd be nice. It would make the drive to Connecticut a lot less miserable for me if Derrick White had a good game going into it. But yeah. Any final thoughts before we wrap this up?
Be more consistent. Like we said at the beginning, they've been hard to watch at times. Last, like you said, 6-6 in the last 12.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe a little more consistent. Good basketball would be nice. Especially when you're playing your next 3 out of 4 games against teams all very well, much under 500 at this point.
Yeah, they opened the year 6-7. They're 6-6 in their last 12. In between that, they're 17 and I can't do math. 17-8. That sounds right. 17-7, something like that. No, 17-5. Because they've 18 losses. But anyway, fingers crossed that they can pick this up and kind of roll into the All-Star break next week, kind of on a hot stretch. That'd be nice. But yeah. Jack, any final thoughts?
Please win. I don't like the thing is if they lose that Houston game, and I know 2/3 of us are predicting that. It's like I don't want to do 2 recordings in a row where they lost. That'll make me sad.
Yeah, that'd be heartbreaking for sure. But yeah, and I'm only picking them to win that game because I gotta throw them the back-breaking loss against a crappy team, and they're not going to lose by a lot. It's going to be like in Kevin Huerter fashion. Like Jaden Hardy's going to get like a 3 at the buzzer, a la Kevin Huerter, to give him 35. It'll hurt worse than any Luka game winner ever did, and that happened a lot. But yeah, that'll do it for this edition of the Hour Back Report. Again, episode 15 for Jamie and Jack. I'm Jordan. Until next time, peace out and go.
We did it. We did it!